Hello to everyone out there. We welcome you to our channel Logical-NDE, where we post accounts of people's near-death experiences that they have shared with us. In case this is your first time viewing one of our videos, we'd like to let you know that we create content for curious individuals who are interested in discovering more about the afterlife. If you genuinely enjoy watching these kinds of stories, we greatly seek your cooperation by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. This will allow you to keep up with all of our new releases, including this one. As for our devoted audiences, it seems like the perfect time to relax with a hot cup of coffee and take in today's episode as we start talking about the near-death experience that a North Carolina resident, Ms. Laura, recently shared with us. Mrs. Laura was 19 years old when she personally witnessed this incident where her soul exited her body and was sent over to other planets. Let's move forward with the story, as Laura shares in her own words. It happened when I was moving out of my state, North Carolina, to New York to further pursue my studies. It had been on my mind for a long time to do my undergraduate from New York University. When I finally got the chance, I immediately got everything processed and applied for a scholarship. I hailed from a middle-class background. My parents had worked really hard to achieve what we had to call our own. I knew good things had to be earned, so this degree was for the sustainability of my own life standards. I became instantly overjoyed when I got to know that I had made it to NYU. After spending so many days, I had decided for my bachelor's program to be astrophysics. My interest in astrophysics came from very early on, when I was still a kid. Having been brought up by two keen, avid readers, my undying love for books had quite an intensity to it, and especially when it had to do with solar systems. I had spent a fair amount of my life reading on that topic to choose it as my career. The night before I was to leave for the airport, something very strange took place. I went to sleep at my usual time. At around 1:30 a.m. in the morning, I woke up to a very queasy feeling. I felt like someone had been trying to jolt me up from my bed. What I saw next sucked out the life from me. I could see myself laying on my bed while I myself was placed on the couch. There were two versions of me in the room. It took me a moment to realize that on the bed lay my body, lifeless, because the soul had been taken out of it. I was very frightened. I wanted to make a sound, but I could not even move. It felt as if my voice had been left in my body. I got the strong urge to run away from there, but I was planted on that couch. After a long struggle, I felt another jolt in my body. Within a second, I went soaring up the air, through the roof of my house. It was pitch black outside, and I could feel the fear building up somewhere, but mostly, it was hard to register any feeling. I knew I was dead. As hard as I tried, I could not remember what had happened to me. The speed at which my soul was being carried by the air accelerated, and I was completely horrified to think about what awaited me next. I could not focus on a single thing around me as everything moved past me in a blur. Suddenly, I hit the clouds. That was the moment when I thought I would pass out. I wondered if there was a death of souls too, but it was not possible. I tried to make up a rational explanation to justify what was happening to me. Before I could reach a conclusion, I saw that it went all dark again. I had traveled far enough in the skies. I could feel myself as a part of the force that carried me as the air disappeared as soon as I got out of the Earth's atmosphere. Suddenly, I could see a lot of light. I got carried into another atmosphere. The air in there was very taut. Everywhere I looked was red-brown mud. I could spot some figures far away from me. With no further ado, the force carrying me faded away. I was dropped on the ground, but I couldn't feel any pain. I walked here and there, in search of heaven or hell, but in vain. After a few more minutes, I felt the figures I could spot far away from me, moving towards me. I walked towards them, and I saw those were humans who looked starved. I tried to get closer to them, but I couldn't. They came close to me and whispered a particular word. It was in a language I couldn't decipher. I tried to speak back, but my mouth had been shut off by some energy. In a moment of time, I got surrounded by almost hundreds of people, all covered in rags. They were all saying the same thing. I also noticed they had dried skins, and their hair was almost non-existent. There was nothing that grew on their land. The whole air was red and brown, with no trace of trees. It was all covered with sand dunes. Soon after, I saw someone from far away licking the ground. Water. They had been saying the word water. I wanted to help them, but I couldn't. I was already dead. The hundreds of people soon multiplied to 1,000, and I was within a mob of people who lay on the ground, slurping at it. They needed water. These humans needed water. It was a call for help. I was suddenly dragged by the same force again. I tried to get myself free from the strong strength being applied on me, but it was too much of a hassle. I could do nothing against it. I knew I had died and was left to linger in the afterlife with nowhere else to go. It was a death with no closure. I felt my soul hurting inside. This fight against the energies seemed futile. As soon as I was about to go limp, I felt like my eyes opened somewhere. There was no darkness this time. To my awe, I found myself back in my room. Recognizing the walls around me and finding my voice back in my throat, I screamed for my mother and father, who came rushing inside. I was perspiring profusely. I couldn't think straight. They thought it was because of the stress of shifting to a new place, but I knew it was much more than that. I had seen a part of the world no one had seen. There were planets suffering for water, a basic need. I knew what God had meant to show me up there. It was a warning for our planet. It wouldn't take long till Earth became barren too. The incident gave me a renowned purpose. I realized everything that we have on our Earth has been gifted to us by the Almighty. To waste it and not realize the power above that might take it away from us is foolish. My love for astrophysics took a new turn that day. I knew I had to explore more of this world than what we see or believe. The next years in New York University made me an entirely different person, and as I walk through my degree, I know what it is for. I also know that God has chosen me for this to give me faith and hope in Him. I know nothing will go wrong as long as we have God on our sides. And with that, we wrap today's video. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think about it in the comments down below. In case you liked this video, give it a thumbs up too, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family to support our channel. Until next time, stay blessed.